Mr. Blobby is a character on Noel Edmonds' Saturday night variety television show Noel's House Party, portrayed by Barry Killerby, and was the brainchild of British comedy writer Charlie Adams, a writer for the show. A bulbous pink figure covered with yellow spots, he sports a permanent toothy grin and jiggling eyes. Mr. Blobby communicates only by saying the word Blobby in an electronically altered voice, expressing his moods through tone of voice and repetition. Although popular, the character was not well received critically. Origins: Mr. Blobby first appeared in the Gotcha segment of the second series of Noel's House Party, in which celebrities were caught out in a candid camera-style prank. Mr. Blobby was presented to the celebrities as if he were a real and established children's television character, in order to record an episode centered around the guest's profession. In truth, there was no Mr. Blobby TV series, and he was created purely for the prank. Mr. Blobby would clumsily take part in the activity, knocking over the set, causing mayhem, and saying "Blobby, Blobby, Blobby." His childish and unprofessional behavior was calculated to irritate the celebrities taking part. When the prank was finally revealed, the Blobby costume would be opened, revealing Noel Edmonds inside. Once the first Gotcha segments had aired, Mr. Blobby was no longer usable as part of the Gotcha sequences. He continued to make appearances on Noel's House Party with various members of the production team donning the costume created by artist Joshua Snow. Through Noel's House Party, Mr. Blobby was seen in short comedy sketches, guest appearing on other TV programs. Examples include Lovejoy, where he unintentionally broke antique furniture, and Keeping Up appearances, where he was seen making an impromptu visit on Hyacinth and Richard Bucket, disrupting their kitchen. Other appearances: Mr. Blobby was hired to make appearances at events such as university balls. For example, he was the guest performer at the University of Birmingham Spring Ball in 1994. John McLagan stood as Mr. Blobby in the Lit-Libra and St. Louis by-election in 1995, having changed his name by deed poll. He came 7th out of 10 candidates, with 105 votes. He made regular appearances on Saturday morning show Live and Kicking and Saturday evening show The Generation Game with Jim Davidson. Between 1997 and 2000, Mr. Blobby made cameo appearances in the VHS releases, Women Exercising Madly and VIP, Very Important Penis Uncut. On February 14, 1998, Mr. Blobby made a small cameo appearance alongside Noel Edmonds and Red Dwarf AZ during Red Dwarf Night. On April 22, 1998, Mr. Blobby appeared as a guest during the Chuckle Brothers game show To Me, To You, and caused chaos. On July 24, 1998, Mr. Blobby starred in his own 6-part BBC One TV series On Your Mars, alongside Mark Spate and Tony Hart. He appeared on a Get Your Own Back Christmas special, where he went on the Gunk Dunk to ask the questions when Dave Benson Phillips was in the chair, and because he could only say Blobby, Phillips got all the questions wrong and was thrown in the gunge pool. It was therefore set up so that he would go in. He also appeared briefly at the end of the 2001 comic relief special of My Hero. Mr. Blobby also made a surprise appearance at the Witness Music Festival, Fairyhouse Racecourse, County Meath, Ireland in the summer of 2002. Blobby took to the stage and attempted to down a pint of Guinness. He stopped while the glass was still half full to the jeers of the crowd, but quickly recovered to finish his pint and win the hearts and affections of the crowd back. He was also a celebrity bungalow head on Dick and Dom and Dar Bungalow, and appeared in the cellar cage in the final episode of Series 4. In 2002, Mr. Blobby appeared in pantomime in Croydon, London. The character also appeared in the music video for Peter Kay's 2005 charity single Is This the Way to Amarillo, where he was played by actor Martin Jarvis. In a form of in-joke, Barry Killerby appeared on the 8th May 2006 edition of Dead Ringers as a contestant on a sketch spoofing Deal or No Deal. He appeared again on the 29th May edition, this time in the Mr. Blobby costume. On January 27, 2007, Mr. Blobby made an appearance on Harry Hill's TV Burp in an EastEnders joke, where character Doc Branning is in Pauline's kitchen, thinking an intruder is coming, grabs a saucepan as weaponry and resorts to the corner of the kitchen. The door opens and Dot says "You." in disbelief. The camera cuts to the door and Mr. Blobby is standing there, starts screaming in his characteristic voice and proceeds to smash up the kitchen, before Harry enters the set and knocks him unconscious with a frying pan. Later in the episode he had a fight with Phil Mitchell, to decide who was best at crashing through doors. On September 8, 2007, Mr. Blobby made a cameo appearance at the beginning of Series 7 of Ant and December's Saturday Night Takeaway. Just as Dec threw coffee on Ant's new suit, Ant went to go and get changed and was replaced with Mr. Blobby bursting through the studio doors and causing mayhem, nearly scaring the Suture babes who were at present. On October 24, 2009, Mr. Blobby made another appearance on Harry Hill's TV Burp in another EastEnders joke, with him being the father of Heather's baby. Blobby made another appearance on March 20, 2010, this time in a joke centered around undercover princesses, in which princesses Shyla Cinderella Vanunji comments on a patron at a restaurant she is working at is too fat, and too pink for her tastes, after which it is revealed she is referring Mr. Blobby, who appears dismayed before smashing up the restaurant and attacking Shyla before being knocked unconscious by Harry once more. Mr. Blobby makes an appearance in the videos for Chelsea's Smile, and the Come Down by the band Bring Me the Horizon. In 2012 he made an appearance on Channel 4's Big Fat Quiz of the 90s, giving the teams their final bonus question and terrifying panelist Jack Whitehall at the same time. On Friday 13 November 2015, during Children in Need Night, Mr. Blobby made a special appearance during a Harry Hill sketch in which he was trying to reenact a whirlwind tour of the history of TV in his own inimitable style. Criticism: despite Blobby's lengthy tenure at the BBC, the character has received significant criticism. In March 1994, Elizabeth Colbert of the New York Times wrote, "Mr. Blobby's rise to stardom has provoked anguished commentaries about just what he stands for. Some commentators have called him a metaphor for a nation gone soft in the head. Others have seen him as proof of Britain's deep-seated attraction to trash." A Sun article published the previous month had reported that Blobby reduced a young girl to tears after throwing her birthday cake onto the floor during a show, causing the girl's father to mount the stage and assault Blobby. Neville Crumpton, who owns the rights to the character, said, "If the press can knock him, they'll knock him whenever they can." A trio of failed Mr. Blobby theme parks also resulted in considerable negative press and scandal. Blobby's 1993 Christmas single Mr. Blobby is widely regarded as one of the worst songs ever recorded. His 1995 festive release Christmas in Blobbyland was voted the worst festive song ever by British Christmas shoppers in a 2011 poll, and was named in the Metro as the second worst Christmas song of all time in 2013. Journalist Tony Purnell declared in an April 1997 headline for The Mirror, "Mr. Blobby's not funny." Addressing the character's popularity, former longtime BBC employee Sir Michael Parkinson confessed that he really didn't get it, and found him far from amusing. In February 2009, Cole Murraton of The Independent ranked Blobby number 1 in the 10 most irritating television characters, asking, "Was there something in the water? Did the nation really once fall about laughing at the clumsy antics of a bloke in a big pink rubber costume with yellow blobs all over it?" Music: the Mr. Blobby spoof theme song Mr. Blobby was released as a single, and hit number 1 on the UK Top 40 charts. A follow-up single called Christmas in Blobbyland was released on December 16, 1995. The song failed to match the success of Blobby's first Christmas release, peaking at number 36. Mr. Blobby had a wife, Mrs. Blobby, who was introduced in Mr. Blobby's Holiday, with a personality similar to that of her husband. Toys and merchandising: around Christmas 1993, retailers came out with many types of Mr. Blobby merchandise. In addition to the CD or cassette tape single, you could purchase Mr. Blobby dolls, slippers, egg cups, condiment shakers, small cans of pink lemonade, towels and other items. Lado even made a die-cast Mr. Blobby-themed pink, bull-nosed Morris van. Theme parks in Somerset and Morecambe were created based on the Blobby character. Visitors could travel through attractions such as Mr. Blobby's house. All of the parks have since closed. Pleasurewood Hills theme park near Lowestoft also featured Mr. Blobby and Crinkly Bottom during the 1995 and 1996 seasons. Pleasurewood Hills is still operating to this day. Theme parks, an agreement with Unique, Noel Edmonds Merchandising Company, to use the Crinkly Bottom theme at Happy Mount Park, Morecambe, led to large losses, a local scandal toppling councillors and finally an auditor's investigation, which reported in 2004 that the council's decision to proceed with the theme park was, on the basis of information available to members and officers in March 1994, imprudent and failed to give due regard to the interests of local taxpayers. The auditor noted the failure of the council to carry out market research, the failure to make informed estimates of likely attendance figures, the absence of a design concept, the absence of a detailed specification, the absence of an accurate financial forecast and the imprecise drafting of the heads of terms, concluding that the council entered into an open-ended commitment without knowing what it was going to get for local taxpayers' money. Council losses stood at £2.5 million. Unique successfully sued the council, whose activities were described as imprudent, irrational and even unlawful, for £950,000. Similar parks in Lowestoft and Somerset also failed to outlive the 1990s, with the Somerset site being vandalised and used for raves following its closure. Footnotes. References. Death of comedy writer Charlie Adams, creator of Mr. Blobby. External links, http www.bbc.co. I love 1993/Toys 3s HTML